So I was looking around and I found an old podcast that died a few years ago, also called Ding.
What? That's what we're called.
Yeah, man.
Is
But
that going to be a problem?
I don't think so. Like I can't even watch their old videos anymore. Shout out to them though. And if they do get upset, we can always change their name to Ping.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of. I almost said it. I almost said P. Welcome to episode 2 of Ding. My name is Darth Kcaj,
And my name's Dr. Fox.
and we're going to be delving deep into a little MMO you may have heard before called Black Desert Online.
Nobody hears of this. It's dead.
Well, I mean, it depends on your perspective.
Yeah, true. With MMOs, like you can call them a dead game, but they're still massively multiplayer. You'll still find someone to play with. Just no longer a flavor of the month.
So, Fox, I am going to ask you to look. This is going to be hard for you. You need to exercise your imagination just for 1 second.
Oh, I have such a hard time with that imagination.
I want you to pretend. Imagine that you're talking to someone who has minimal knowledge on MMOs, perhaps even an MMO newbie.
But I am talking to
It's going to be real
someone with a
difficult.
minimal
No.
knowledge.
No. I want you to pretend. Just imagine. Just
Okay.
imagine.
Okay.
What is Black Desert Online?
Black Desert Online is a Korean MMO. It relatively recently had a Western release. It's your typical fantasy MMORPG. So you've got people being referred to by their race. Dwarf.
All right, I've just started up in Black Desert Online. Where am I? What year is it? What's the overarching quest line? If it's easy to condense it down to that much.
This game is actually quite interesting in the way that there is a story that you loosely follow, where you just go from grind to grind doing missions for this little black spirit thing. As a player, you have lost your memories, you've traded them with this little black spirit, and everything in the world is described through knowledge, which is a system where you just pick up all the lore on things, all the really poorly translated lore. Is just a really full world.
Okay, so the general gist of it is you wake up in a mysterious land and you have to steal your memories back from Mr. Popo.
Yeah, Mr. Popo with really creepy teeth as you grow him. Like he starts off cute and then he looks terrible. But apparently you were some sort of hero before that, saving the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There are so many dramatic stories.
You're no longer saving the world. In fact, you pretty much rarely do anything good, like objectively good in the game.
You retired from saving the world to tend your crops and put decorations in your house.
No, well, yes, there's that. There's a lot of that actually. But the rest of it is you're doing really morally ambiguous mercenary work. You're committing genocide after genocide, usually so that, say, a group of humans can move into that swamp area and start developing it. You'll just kill all the frog people first.
Right.
You know what? That's really not that morally ambiguous. That's just
Yeah, I was going to say.
You do a lot of evil stuff in this game, actually.
And now you said this was a Korean MMO. So is this pretty popular in the home territory?
Well, here's the thing about Korean MMOs. They always try to be your only MMO, especially
Right.
in Korea. And in Korea, they're okay to pay for advantages and stuff. They invest their money and their time in one MMO.
So would you say that there's a big focus on content for the game? There's a lot of stuff to do, a lot of stuff to sink your teeth into to keep you busy?
The world is impressively large and takes quite a while to get around places. There's no like teleporting or fast flying. There is just your horse, and you go as fast as your horse that you've bought or bred. But most of the game is going from one grind section to another.
So What is sort of the battle system or the fighting mechanics in Black Desert Online? So have you got like a magic class system or like a real time, or is it spreadsheets happening in the background?
They actually have a very, very interesting combat system. And it's one that, all right, so you can still put things on your hotkeys like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and stuff, but most of these spells are cheaper and cast faster, and I think hit harder if you do a combination of keys to do the attack. So let's say I want to do something like a smash on the ground as a mage, a wizard, sorry. I could bind that to something like 4, and it would take a while to cast. It would cost more, and I could place, but it'll cast eventually. Or I can press WS and Shift Spacebar kind of thing, depending on the spell, and it'll be faster and cheaper. So you're not using your mouse. In fact, your mouse is usually hidden unless you press the mouse button. It's, you've got your left click for firing, but if you're holding left shift and then clicking, it'll change its fire mode again. To use World of Warcraft, it's like you're always holding your right click down.
Right.
It's quite action oriented.
That's very different, a very different style of interface for the game.
Well, quite different from, Western MMOs like World of Warcraft, but Korean MMOs do tend to hide the mouse quite a bit.
So it's more about reaction time and input memorization.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty easy for me because I mostly just hold fireballs.
Well, look, it must be easy because, they just stop playing StarCraft and just pick that up and, they don't have to slow down with their APM.
Oh. National sport.
Is it actually the national sport?
No, it's not actually the national sport. Well, wait, hang on. Is it?
So you mentioned earlier that it's a bit of a grind, but you can also invest money to advance your character in the game, not just necessarily cosmetic factors, but you can actually, there is an element of pay to win in Black Desert Online. Is that the case?
Yeah, it is pay to win. So say you want, all right, you always look really crappy in default armors that you look like a ragged, really boring, say on my wizard, you just got tattered robes. But if you pay some of that sweet dollar, you can deck yourself out with cool hats and weapon skins and all that, and they carry stat bonuses with them.
Right. So it isn't just cosmetic. It definitely is. Like, that's just, they're not even shy about it, really. They're just putting it out there.
Yeah, like you can use real money to have faster vehicles, swim faster, or faster than some boats, allowing which is like essential for people who want to play like the pirate kind of fantasy. All they got to do is put on their gigantic ugly fish suit, and they can catch up to any boat they want.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's not my usual cuppa, but you do you. Different strokes for the different folks.
So it is an MMO. What are some of the multiplayer-centric facilities like? So I'm talking about your guilds. How is that run in game?
Oh well, you've got your usual things like you can set up a party, you can set up a guild, but the guilds in Black Desert Online are much more like EVE Online corporations. They're businesses. They have a thing that they want to do, like they want to be a fishing guild and they can tailor themselves to be that, or they want to be a crafting guild or a mercenary guild or a guild that wants to hold land and have a massive empire. That the whole guild fighting thing did not come out on launch. I think that was a mistake. Because most people wanted to play the game for its huge castle sieging PvP. But and so I'm seeing the same assholes from Kcaj Online, from the server I used to play on Olo. So you have this this prick named Autism, and he's leading his group called Addiction. I see them again. Wherever there's a sort of a game where you can have power, I see these pricks. They come in every time.
Bugger.
But aside from that, you can set up, say, a family. I think it was a family or a clan, and that gives you no benefits except for a name under your name. So, like, I didn't bring the guild into this game because it would have required way too much micromanagement to handle this one. Most of the guild members aren't that into PvP, and the ones that were easily wanted to sign up to one of the larger PvP-oriented guilds and do some work for them.
Well, as you said, the Korean MMOs, they want to be your only MMO. So I imagine it would be very time-consuming to manage. It would be very much a full-time MMO if you use that expression.
It is a full-time MMO. It takes hours upon hours to get anything done in the game. So, and especially leading a guild where you need to be endlessly skirmishing and doing missions, guild missions and stuff to keep your guild functioning and holding onto your territory now that they put that in. I don't know, that's stress I didn't need, but some people have been really enjoying that part. It just came out late.
Our town is peaceful. Have a pleasant stay.
I want to talk about a couple, I mean, we've still been doing this the whole time, but I want to talk about a couple of specific cultural differences in the design of the game. Grinding is a big part of the game.
Grinding is a big part in a lot of Korean MMOs, but in this one in particular, you need to kill thousands of mobs just to get you up to the next level so that you can do the next quest of killing hundreds, but then proceed to kill thousands so that you can sell the loot and get the experience. If you die, you lose experience.
Wow.
Yeah, so like at the lower levels, dying will maybe lose you about 15 minutes of work. At work, I say work, not play. At the very high levels, dying can cost you hours of work.
That's incredible. And they're not shy about, hiding this facet of the gameplay. I know in lots of Western MMOs, it's often a criticism if there's a lot of grinding in the game, but in this instance, it seems to be something that they're not shy about as well.
Yeah, the Korean MMOs rarely shy away from being grindy games. The tolerance for grinding in the East is significantly higher than the instant gratification culture that we have in the West.
Right. Yeah, it's. I guess it's just sort of that really strong, I don't know, work ethic that may not be as present in the cultures that we're used to.
Wow, that got political.
Well, it's just my way of saying Australians are just really lazy.
And we want it now.
Yep, exactly.
And we also hate boats.
The other thing I wanted to talk about briefly was the character creation in Black Desert Online. Apparently is something to be heard of.
Yeah, it's not as super fancy as it was hyped up to be. People like you have sliders and you can go onto the character model and perfectly decide how big or perky or offside their breasts are. The females have a lot more choice in the crafting of the character, but
right.
Yeah, like I managed to make my character. He's got a orangey red skin with glowing yellow eyes and constant smirk and wrinkles just dotting around his face. Striping around his face.
They're not being very subtle with who they're targeting with that character creation options.
Yeah, they do work to tick off the boxes. You can tick off the sexy elves, the flat-chested short girls, the flat-chested tall girls. The
Okay. We get the idea.
Yeah, it's the weebs love it.
Thinking about you under the moonlight. Are you thinking of a dwarf?
So let's talk a bit about the map for a second. Now, my personal area of interest is always going to be the cartography of these MMOs. When I was watching you play through, probably for about an hour, I think it would have been in total, I noticed you covered a lot of ground, and you are right. There's a lot. It's a very big map. That seems to be a very dense, happening map. But for the size of the map, I never really got the impression that there was any sparse or isolated areas. It always felt very busy. It always felt that there was a lot happening. And although it may have taken some time to get from major city to major city, it didn't really feel like it was much of an empty road trip in between the two. It always felt like there was something every 5 meters and there were people around everywhere. For a game that's called Black Desert, it did feel like a very busy map. Now that might be a bit hard to comment on, but would you agree in that sense?
I would agree that the sections that I was showing you, because the actual Black Desert itself wasn't released at the time you were watching me
Right.
play it. That is where you lose your map. You need to have warmth at night and
Wow.
cool like drinks and stuff during the day. You go through a ton of water. You need to be super prepared for it, and you pick the direction and you go from adventure to adventure. That wasn't in the game yet, so you saw me making a run between two major cities, and just all the quest things or gathering nodes in between it. It looks stunning and fantastic, and it's really fun to go off the beaten track and just look at things, and hell, maybe you'll even find a horse to tame while you're out there. But yeah, the large open expanses weren't in yet, and in fact, I will have to do a check later to see if they've added the Black Desert in. They have been releasing patches quicker than people can get through the content.
Wow.
Because they're catching up to Korea's state of the game. So they released new classes and stuff way after the game released, but still faster than people could max out another character to reach some kind of thing. Unless they were, that kind of dedicated person with that huge amount of time to play this game.
There's going to be Black Desert offline for a little while yet. Just cut that up. No. We don't need that.
No, it's in. You did that Darth Dad jokes.
Oh, God.
So the game has no loading screens. They've championed it as a game that has no loading screens. The thing about a game with no loading screens, is when you're running through faster than it can render things in, your character might start to freeze or just stand on the spot while it tries to load the rest of the world there. So there's no loading screens, but
it suffers in other ways.
You're seeing what's happening without a loading screen to cover it.
They're letting you behind the curtain, so to speak, by literally
you can
just raising the curtain while the props are still being brought on the set.
Yeah, you can say there's no loading screens, but if you put a loading screen in there, you wouldn't watch all the very immersion-breaking game stuff constructing around you.
Speaking of grinding, what grinds your gears with this game?
The repetitive voice lines. So this game has quite a bit of voice acting, like a very large amount of voice acting, but you're seeing the same characters so often that they're endlessly repeating lines, and it's really annoying. I actually can't get over it. They're repetitive voices, and they come in very frequently. Sometimes so quickly that they're talking over themselves to say their next line.
It's such a pain point, isn't it, really? Because it breaks immersion. It just makes the game annoying to play in some instances.
Yeah, whenever I would go to the bank in Velia, I would take my headset off because there's this little Shia or Shia character. Yeah, they're little gnomey things. Anyway, she's just like she is harassing this giant while he's just trying to do his work. He's trying to hammer in some nails and get things going, and all she's doing is like, do it better. I can do better than that. Oh my God, do it better. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up and let him work. He's like, if a nail slips up and hits you, it won't be my fault. Oh, stop bothering me. Oh, I
burnt into your mind.
I remember every line. Or going, say I want to do some cooking in Villia. That means I need to go inside the tavern to purchase some ingredients. There's always this frickin' dwarf bard there. Just, I'll tell you a story for a penny. And just telling, and I know these stories now. They're missing lines. They're missing lines. Like he skips lines and just skips through the story. But, I can't stand it. This is why I'm so happy with what they've been doing with World of Warcraft Legion.
With the huge add-in of voice lines.
Yeah, like I very, very rarely hear the same voice line twice from just average mobs, and they're infrequent, and it's a nice thing to have. Voice acting is a very nice thing to have as long as you don't overdo it with what they've done. And it's probably, aside from the sheer amount of grindiness and pay to win of the game, that would be my biggest peeve. Just these repetitive, horrible voices.
Repetitive, horrible voices.
Yes.
Repetitive, horrible voices.
Oh, fuck you.
Repetitive.
If you lose your composure, you'll eventually lose yourself.
Another thing about this game is everything is competitive. Everything from making money to combat to fishing to trading to taming mounts.
You can verse each other in fishing?
Well, there's a ranking system where anyone who's online currently is ranked with whatever they're doing on that channel, on that server channel. So let's say you have been taming horses a lot. You can open up the leaderboard for taming of the people online, and you can see who's number one. And if they're number one, it shows above their name even when they're out in the overworld. If they're number one at what they're doing, people know it, and you can. It's actually quite useful for people who want to find the current hot fishing spot. Where fish are good and abundant. You can ask a shady NPC to track the top fishing player, because you know where they're going to be.
Right.
Yeah. So the game is so huge and has all those nifty little functions.
And that's present in every single type of task and a function you can do in the game.
Yes.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
So not only does it incorporate a hell of a lot of grinding, it also it makes you want to be the best at grinding. That's incredible. That's incredible.
The people, this competitiveness, like I said, I've seen the same arseholes from Arcade in this game. It attracts these kinds of people, like people who don't mind doing quests where you're literally killing kids, because all they really care about is getting power over other people in the game. Like, if I go too close to some people who are just destroying a whole area, like they've claimed this area to grind out their millions of kills that they want to do to level up. If I just get a little bit too close, they will deviate from their thing, kill me, kill my horse, and then just get back to their thing. Not a word exchanged. I was just passing through. Or say I was fighting some guy and someone's speaking to me in Portuguese. And I'm sorry, if I knew he wanted a group invite or something, I would have done it instead of him calling me a viado, which literally translates to fag. I'm like, oh, thanks, fella.
The fact that people are just, carving out their turf because they want to grind more efficiently, that's crazy.
Yeah, and they do need all that experience and all the money that they're getting from that grinding, because they need to remain on top to be competitive when sieging another guild's castle, kind of thing.
Right.
You've got to be the best. Always got to be the best. Again, not really my thing, but hey, I really enjoyed exploring the world. That's what I think is important. As long as you can find something that you enjoy from a game, that's great.
So are there any exploits or ways people are trying to manipulate the game? If there's a lot of grinding happening, then surely people are trying to find a way around it to get the best advantage possible.
Yeah, this is something that has actually killed the game for a lot of people, just the sheer amount of hackers.
Right.
People who are making their characters near invincible or doing massive damage so they can kill the people around them, which lowers their experience. So, these people that they're killing are losing hours, or just so they can fly around to all the gathering spots really quickly. They aren't really addressing it either, because I don't know why, actually. Korean MMOs seem to rarely chase up these hackers. You won't see people lasting long hacking in a lot of Western titles, but Eastern titles, they don't. If they mind, they're not really mentioning it.
That's really bizarre, because you would think that, for a game that's so centric around investing so much of your time and just focus on grinding and grinding and grinding, to then see someone else achieve that and more just by exploiting, or hacking, surely that would make people just, drop the keyboard, get up, go.
Well, see, that actually happened. In combination with sieges coming out so late, guilds were dying because people just, they're putting all their time in there, and they didn't want to deal with hackers. They didn't want to deal with their content not being in. Yeah. So the game is still going, and they've finally added in the other classes. They've added in more territories, more zones, faster than I could ever bloody keep up with. But yeah, the game did lose a lot of its popularity by not really handling the problems like hackers.
Okay, Dr. Fox, taking all that into account, this is the moment that I'm sure our listeners have been waiting for. How many hats?
I would have to say that this game, as with a lot of MMOs, if I'm not playing it anymore, it means that if it did fill a niche, it didn't fill it for long enough, or it is no longer filling it. I would say that it's still quite a good average MMO for the amount of freedom in the game is so impressive. You can choose the kind of spells that you want to use exclusively. So most of mine I use are fire spells. I don't have to do this. I could min-max it, but I don't want to. And I'm not really punished for that, because I can play the way I want. Some people just go in the game just to fish. Some people go in the game to train up horses. They can do what they want. So being able to provide all of that, I would say the MMO, the Black Desert Online, could easily have 3 or 4 hats out of 5.
3 or 4 hats out of 5. There you go. That's a pretty decent review.
It depends on if it's ticking those boxes for you. If it's making you happy and you're really enjoying what it's offering you, you're going to have to really enjoy what it's offering you, because you're going to be doing a lot of it.
So if you can persevere,
or if your wallet is thick enough, you will definitely give this game 4 hats. But For people who want a little bit more quality and less quantity, then I would say that it's a three hat MMO for those kinds of people.
There you have it, guys. Black Desert Online, 3.5 hats out of 5, maybe.
Yeah, 3.5. Although I don't know what someone's going to do with a half hat.
It's a cap.
It's the Division beanie.
There you go.
Yeah, three hats and a beanie.
We really got to nut out this rating system.
We really do.
Thanks for tuning in this week, guys. We really appreciate. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section, and we'll do our best. Well, Fox will do his best to get back to you because I would be useless. Thank you very much, Dr. Fox, for lending us your absolutely superb knowledge of MMOs and all things massively multiplayer.
Thank you for asking questions since you don't know very much about them at all.
Yeah. Well,
Darth Casual.
hey, look, it's not. It doesn't stand for casual. It's Jack backwards. It's a moniker of my real life name.
Who's Monica?
Next episode, we're going to be hitting up an MMO that I actually have a fair, well, for me at least, a fair bit of experience with, and that is Star Wars: The Old Republic. I really am looking forward to this. I think we're going to have to hit it up. It's free to play, right?
Yeah, it's free to play now, so yeah,
We can sink some hours in.
Yeah, let's go with that. Rather than you watching me play for a change, let's play together. We can play with each other.
Let's not say that phrase ever again. But I think the force is going to be strong, and we're going to answer the tough questions. Why did it go free to play? What's the deal with the lightsabers? Who shot first? We're going to see it. We're going to get them all.
That was so cringy.
I hate myself. I'm called Darth Kcaj. You got to realize that I'm going to love this Star Wars game, regardless of. Well, actually, maybe we'll find out.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you all in the next episode.
Thanks for listening, guys. As always, remember to pre-order responsibly.
Whoa.
Sorry? Yeah.
All right. Pre-ordering responsibly. This is a fantastic time to mention it because Black Desert Online, it had several selections for its pre-order. You know, you couldn't test the game out before you buy these things. That's the whole pre-order culture now. You spend huge amounts for all these bonuses, and you don't even know what the game's gonna be like.
Yeah, it does seem like a little bit of a broken system.
Yeah, and see, the two guild members who encouraged me to get it, they went straight for the $150 option.
Whoa.
I think the game by itself is $15, $20, and no subscription or anything. It's just one of those pay once models. I decided that since the pre-order things were properly pay to win, I did buy one of the pre-purchase things, and I'm glad I got my money's worth. I don't think I would have gotten $150 worth of content. That's 10 months of World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Put it in that perspective, it seems a little off balance.
Yeah, and it's a lot of grinding.
Well, there you have it. Very important this time, guys. Please pre-order responsibly. Make sure you at least know what you're getting into, and it's definitely going to be worth the value if you're better off spending that money somewhere else. And as always, be careful of those microtransactions. And
Real life first. South Korea's national sport. Taekwondo.